Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here and welcome to another video. And in this video we take a look at some potential Easter eggs we missed in the Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse segment from last week. We discuss Alexa Bliss and where on earth she is and how she's potentially connected to this Bray Wyatt storyline, and we look ahead to WrestleMania. Now, as always, be really appreciative if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new. Let's get to it. So we haven't seen Alexa Bliss since the Royal Rumble, and since that time, it's safe to say the Firefly Funhouse has taken a dark turn. So much so, the Firefly Funhouse door has been opened now and seemingly revealed the other side of the Funhouse, which seems darker and more sinister than ever before. Something we've never seen before. And also add on top of that the fact that we saw what appeared to be a woman playing with Undertaker action figures within the Funhouse. And as far as I'm aware, there's only ever been 2 women in the Firefly Funhouse ever. One being Alexa Bliss and one of course being Abby the Witch, and we know how she feels about Alexa Bliss. But that's another story. And so of course the speculation is going to be there, and we're approaching WrestleMania. It's nearly 2 years since Alexa Bliss cost the Fiend his matchup against Randy Orton on the grandest stage of them all and sent the Fiend away, and claimed to have all the power after that, claimed not to need the Fiend ever because she was the one in control. She got therapy, she tried to get better, to vanish the dark side. And as of late, she's been trying to embrace the dark side, but Howdy claims to be the one in control. Now, we've looked at a lot of the Easter eggs from the segment last week in the Firefly Funhouse. However, there's a few that connect Alexa, and there's a few that we missed, which we're going to cover today. Now, of course, we covered the Jack in the Box, the red lights, the biblical references, the fact that Bray was rewatching more of his work again when he claimed not to. One thing that really stood out to me as more of an Easter egg was the Uncle Howdy weather segment. He said, "I am all of us," and at the time I sort of brushed past that. But what if there is far more characters involved in this, superstars involved in this, than we're led to believe? And there is a faction angle. Now, of course, yes, this could be Howdy just taking control of people, bringing out their darker alter egos, getting them to embrace the darkness and revel in who they truly are. Or this could be something bigger. This could be the Funhouse literally coming to life now that the door is open. Or a faction angle where we see Vincent and Dutch and Eric Rowan and other people. And yes, this is fan speculation, and yes, this could still be Wyatt 6 in terms of Bray Wyatt's personalities, but we've got to be open to other options. Also, if you look at the weather segment, Uncle Howdy was circling over Tennessee. Now, of course, the connections there are to Bianca Belair being from Tennessee. The last time we saw Alexa Bliss, she lost to Bianca Belair. She didn't win the Raw Women's title. So there is a connection there. Why was Uncle Howdy circling Tennessee? Also, if you go back to the White Rabbit Trail, the lead up to Bray Wyatt's return, Bel Air was one of the clues in Morse code in that trail as well. Now, if you go west, you can also make out Missouri. It's certainly the end of Missouri. Missouri is in that location, and we know who's from St. Louis, Missouri in Randy Orton. Of course, that ties to WrestleMania 37. Also, if you go northeast, slightly higher up the map, Uncle Howdy is covering it, but you can see Ohio. Alexa Bliss is from Columbus, Ohio. So it's little details. The little details always matter with Bray Wyatt, and I just thought it was worth brushing up those points. Now, this is where we get into a little bit of nitty gritty. If you go to the back end of the segment last week, you can clearly see 6 eyes flash up. Now, I brushed past these before, but maybe this is relevant. Maybe this is just a link to the Wyatt 6, whatever that may be. But again, maybe this is making reference to potentially what could be a bigger scale faction angle, which we've overlooked. Now, talking of eyes, there was one eye that stood out massively, and I've watched this several times over. I noticed a few people pop up on their social medias about this. The fact you've got this eye, and you might think at first, well, what's that got to do with anything? Couple that up with the contacts that we saw Alexa Bliss wearing at WrestleMania 37 when she wore the Crown of Thorns and vanished the Fiend for good. Those are the same eyes, surely. Surely those are the same eyes. They look identical. I don't think that was any coincidence. Also, we can't ignore the obvious fact that throughout that whole segment, there's a lot of fire references. Now, fire is obviously a big theme in the Bray Wyatt storyline because Randy Orton burnt the Fiend alive. We didn't see him emerge until Fastlane and then return at WrestleMania in his original form. Well, it was a brand new mask, but the Fiend as we know and loved it. And so fire is a huge part. And so I don't think that was a coincidence that several times we saw these fire images pop up on our screens on what appeared to be the other side of the Firefly Funhouse door. Now, this one is a little bit reachy, but if you look at this figure at the very start of the back end of the segment that we're looking at right now, it appears at first glance to be a wolf, the big bad wolf. And if you go all the way back to the White Rabbit Trail, there were some references to that. The 3 pigs, let me in, let me in, let me in, right? But if you look at it from a slightly different perspective, it could also be a silhouette of what's to come, the Fiend, potentially. I mean, look at it. Does that look like the Fiend's pose to you? And it always stands out to me, that scene that we saw in the Firefly Funhouse when he went twinkle, twinkle, little star and all of that. And just the way that the Fiend stood, presented himself, was that potentially supposed to have a double meaning? Now it seems it appears to be a big bad wolf sort of link, but again, we've got to look at the small details because with Bray, he's always looking at the finer details and getting us to pick them out. So maybe, just maybe, there's a point worth noting there. Now, I truly believe, I honestly believe that this whole Bray Wyatt storyline has been set in stone and consistent from the off. That Bray claimed to be a servant, just going where the circle takes him. But deep down, he is Uncle Howdy. That's his darker thoughts. He's used his real life brother, Bo Dallas, to betray Uncle Howdy to cover up his lies. And deep down, he knows, with the wink that he gave, where this all ends. And the circle is complete at WrestleMania 39 when we see the Fiend, or something darker and even more sinister. We can't just get wrapped up solely on the Fiend. This could be like Bray's biggest weapon yet unleashed, and he truly revels in who he is, embraces the darkness. And also Alexa Bliss too, that Uncle Howdy's got Alexa Bliss and used Alexa Bliss to get both of them to unlock their darker sides. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see those two standing side by side, or even, like I said earlier in the video, I wouldn't rule out some sort of faction angle. Think about this logistically, right? Bray Wyatt is going against Bobby Lashley. He's going to want to bring out his ace card. Is his ace card the Fiend? We'll have to wait and see. I don't want this to be too predictable. I want to be wrong. I want there to be swerves. I want there to be a WTF moment where I go, what the heck is going on? But I truly believe that all along, Bray Wyatt has played us for fools, us fans for fools, and deep down, he craves that power again. He craves the Fiend, and that is going to get unlocked at WrestleMania. How it ends up happening, we'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much for watching the video. As always, get down in the comments section, share your thoughts and opinions. Much welcome all your theories. They're absolutely brilliant, some of them. And as always, it would be really appreciative if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new. We'll catch you in the next one.